Yeah, popped in Die Hard. Now, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or is it not a Christmas movie? I say, who cares? Hey everybody, once again we are back here in the library for today's video because I'm a little late with this, but we have December reviews to do. All the movies I watched over the month of December, we're going to take a look at today. I'm going to give you my my very brief thoughts on these movies, not going to go into too much detail. So yeah, sorry, a little bit late. I know it's like almost halfway through January now, but let's get to them. And I guess you could also kind of say this is my merry movie marathon, although I'll be honest, not every single movie I watched this December was a Christmas or holiday or like winter related movie. Some of them were not. All but I think one of them I have an excuse for. One of the last movie I watched for December was just literally like, all right, I'm done with Christmas. But anyway, let's see what I checked out. So, of course, as per usual, as always, December 1st, I always watch the same exact movie, and that is Home Alone, and this awesome 25th anniversary collection set I have of all 5 Home Alone films. I have seen all 5. 1 and 2 are great. 3, 4, and 5, not so much. But I just watched Home Alone 1, the first Home Alone. I usually actually follow it up with 2, but this year, for some reason, I didn't watch 2. I like 2. 2, in my opinion, is a very strong movie. Yes, it is just rehashing the first movie. It is basically just the first movie again, but this time in New York in a different house. Yes, but it's still a great movie. I love it. But the first movie, in my opinion, is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. There are definitely other really good Christmas movies. We're gonna take a look at least one of them. I think is like right up there. But I do believe this, in my opinion, is the best Christmas movie ever because it's the movie that gets me, at least, in the spirit of Christmas. It's that movie I watch and go, Christmas is here. I can watch this movie in the middle of like July and I'm like, oh, Christmas. Like I feel like it's Christmas. It puts me in that spirit. The music, the setting. I mean, yes, perhaps the premise of Kevin McAllister being left home alone and having to defend his house from burglars. Okay, that's not very Christmassy, but it's just it's you know, everything that surrounds that story. It's so Christmas. I love it, and in my opinion, this is the movie to watch to get into the Christmas mood. So, Home Alone, of course. Again, as always, next year I'll probably do the same thing. So then I wanted to check out the unrated version of Office Christmas Party because I up until like a month or two ago, I did have this on DVD, and the DVD only comes with the theatrical cut. So I wanted to rewatch this, but with the unedited cut, and it's great. I really do enjoy this movie. I know some people were saying they weren't the biggest fans of it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun, very funny, great cast, great comedic moments. I really like this one. So Office Christmas Party, I would say it's definitely one to check out if you're just in the mood for like a very raunchy Christmas movie, because this is raunchy. So if that's your thing, if you want, you know, a little bit of an R-rated Christmas blast, check out Office Christmas Party. I like it. It's good, and I would recommend the unrated version over the theatrical cut. It's got some art funniness to it. So then I watched Daddy's Home 2, because yes, this is a Christmas movie. This, the sequel takes place during the Christmas season, which is weird. I'm going to talk about another movie that did the same thing. I actually really liked this. I did not care for Daddy's Home. I thought it was just very weak. The jokes fell flat. I really disliked that movie, which is a shame because it had a great cast. The premise seemed okay, but, I don't know, Daddy's Home just, did not do it for me. I did not care about that film. This one here, it was a bit more of the same, but I really like John Lithgow and Mel Gibson, you know, because Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, they're okay together. They were kind of my problem with the first movie, though. Their chemistry, I mean, I know they're supposed to be very, you know, polar opposites, and that's the funny part of it, but I don't know, they just kind of, they didn't do it for me. They didn't really make me laugh too much. They were kind of just, you know, some funny moments here and there. Didn't really care for them working together too much in this movie anyway. So, introducing John Lithgow and Mel Gibson, though, made it so much better because John Lithgow, of course, plays his quirky self. I love it, and then Mel Gibson, is the badass dad, and he's like such a tough guy. I love his characters, so I really enjoyed this, and of course, adding the Christmas element into the whole thing is always a win in my opinion because I just love Christmas movies. So. If you did not like the first movie, if you're in the same camp as me, and you are not a fan of Daddy's Home, you might actually enjoy Daddy's Home 2. In my opinion, I won't say far superior, but a more superior movie over the first one. So definitely check this out. It was good. I could see myself rewatching this movie, but not so much the first one. All right, next up was a movie that you guys actually said I got to get around to watching, and that is A Merry Friggin' Christmas. I believe it was I think it actually was, yeah, I'm trying to think if it is. I think it was, yeah. I'm going through my head, I'm thinking of IMDb. Yeah, it was Robin Williams' last, I guess, on-screen movie, I think. If I'm remembering that correctly, I think it is. I could be wrong. I don't know. Correct me if I am. But I believe it's just his last on-screen film. Because I think he did some voiceover work after this, like for 1 or 2 movies. But I believe this was his first or his last time ever on screen. Again, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, please correct me. This was okay. It's one of those movies where it's Christmas time and they have to deal with their family. Of course, our main character has it all together. He's doing well. The rest of his family, not so much. They're a little, on the trashy side. And, they're butting heads and going crazy. And our main character does not get along with his dad, of course. And they're butting heads the entire thing. And by the end of the movie, you realize that the dad, truly loves him. And it's all about family. And yay. We've seen this story before. However, it was enjoyable. I liked it. I thought Robin Williams was pretty good in it. Plays a fun, just mean jerk of a dad. I liked it. It was okay. Nothing to write home about. I'm not going to say you got to rush out and see this one. Well, I'm not going to say you got to rush out and pick this one up and then come home and watch it because you can't go out and see it. But I'm not going to say you have to see this one. I'm just going to say if you want a newer Christmas movie that you maybe haven't seen yet, it is worth at least checking out. Again, nothing is going to blow you away, or at least I don't think anything is going to blow you away. But it is worth checking out at the very least. So I would say see it if you want something new. Then we have a napkin. Well, I don't know. I didn't have paper. I watched Christmas Chronicles, which I can't hold up and show you because I did watch the digital version of it because I had to watch it through Netflix because Netflix is what it was on. I hope it gets a DVD or Blu-ray release. Christmas Chronicles was great. I heard everybody talking about this movie, so I wanted to see it as well. And it was pretty good. Kurt Russell plays Santa Claus, and he is like a more kind of badass Santa Claus. He's a bit tough, not always, not super goody two shoes, breaking the rules sometimes. He actually gets thrown into jail at one point, and kind of rightfully so. He's doing, did something kind of wrong. So I love his take on Santa, and of course it's one of those movies where Santa and kids have to team up to basically save Christmas, and it's done really well. It does have that like Netflix feel where I said this when I reviewed Bird Box, that a lot of Netflix movies, they kind of have a bit of a Netflix feel. They feel a little bit, lower budget than a big Hollywood movie necessarily would. So it did have that. It didn't necessarily feel like it was a Hollywood movie. It kind of felt at times like, okay, this is Netflix. But it was still really, really good, very enjoyable. I could see myself watching this one next year and then the year after that. It was great. I'm really hoping Netflix puts this one out on Blu-ray or on DVD, preferably Blu-ray. Again, it's Netflix. You never really know with them. Sometimes they release stuff, sometimes not so much. So we're gonna see, and I'm crossing my fingers it gets a home video release. But Christmas Chronicles, definitely one to see if you have Netflix. If you can watch it, see it. It was really, really enjoyable. And again, like I said, I'll probably watch it again next year. Maybe I'll even watch it with with Sean next year. And if you're a big fan of Kurt Russell, like just him in general, you know, outside of his movie career, really cool ending when he goes back home and Mrs. Claus is there. Very cool way to end the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, awesome treat. All right, next up was Christmas Story. I had this movie, I had never seen it, and I just randomly popped it in to see what it was. It's actually, I'm trying to remember what country this was made in. I want to see, like, it was Danish or something like that. I could be wrong about that. Of course, why would it tell me on the back? It doesn't. This was not an American film. And you realize that, or it wasn't even an English-speaking film. And you realize that right away because it's voiced over and, you know, Mal's not quite syncing up to what people are saying. But it was a really good story about the origins of Santa, but it was told in such a way that, like, I'd never seen it told before. I've seen, you know, Christmas or Santa Claus origin stories before. I've read them. I've seen them in movies. And they're all maybe somewhat similar. This one almost took like a little bit of a different route and showed you some more. And it really focused, the whole movie's focusing on him before he becomes Santa Claus. It's not really about, okay, here's how he became Santa Claus, and now the rest of the movie, he's Santa Claus. It's really all about just him becoming Santa Claus and him working his way up to, you know, eventually being the Santa Claus we all know. And I think that's really cool. Again, it was very well done. It was really interesting. A lot of you guys agreed, because when I mentioned I was watching this one, a lot of you guys said, oh, that's a great movie. And I agreed. I was blown away. I honestly forget where I bought this or why I bought it, although, to be honest, I may have bought it because it says, if Walt Disney would have known how this is the kind of Christmas movie he would have created. I don't know about that. Didn't really feel very Disney-esque to me, but probably why I bought it. It said something about Walt Disney, and I was like, oh, I gotta see what this is. And yeah, it was good. Again, just completely was not expecting this movie to be this good. I thought it was probably just gonna be some random mediocre thing I popped in, and you know, it is what it is. But anyway, I would definitely recommend this one. Check it out. Christmas Story was actually not a Christmas Story, but Christmas Story was actually really good. Definitely see that one. All right, another napkin here. I went out to the movie theater, actually, to see Once Upon a Deadpool. Actually went out with Crazy Joe to see this. We already kind of reviewed it. Once Upon a Deadpool, oh man. It's hard for me to recommend seeing this movie, because Once Upon a Deadpool basically just is, you know, the Deadpool 2. I mean, it is. It's the same movie, just with some new spliced in material, and it's worth seeing for that spliced in material. But I don't know. It really felt more like a special feature on a Blu-ray than it did a whole, you know, it actually warranting a whole movie. But I get what they did. Why not, you know, do a theatrical release of this and then make some more money off it? I'm sure that's all Fox, Disney, whatever was thinking. We can make some more money here. And I guess maybe they did. I don't know. I didn't check box office. I don't know how much money the recut of the movie basically did. But I would say when it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, is it worth picking up? If you can get it for a good price. I don't think you should go out day one and spend the money on Once Upon a Deadpool if you already own Deadpool 2. There's no real reason. But if you're out at a thrift store, pawn shop, flea market, whatever, and you're like, oh, look, they got it for like $5, it's worth picking up. It's fun to watch. I mean, the Fred Savage scenes alone are worth it. They're really, really funny. I mean, I was cracking up laughing during his scenes. And I mean, that's the reason why I say it is a cut of the movie you should actually see. Again, Fred Savage really makes this movie very, very funny. I mean, the movie already was funny, but his new scenes are hilarious and worth seeing. So I would say not to pick up day one. Don't spend like $20, $25, whatever on this movie the day it comes out. Wait till it drops down in price, maybe even like next Black Friday, whatever. Pick it up and then check it out. It's worth seeing if you like Deadpool 2. If you're a fan of the Deadpool franchise, it is worth checking out. Definitely. I just wouldn't say anything you want to spend, you know, any crazy amount of money on. But Once Upon a Deadpool, it was good. Check it out. Then, okay, this actually, all right, this is Yeah, this has nothing to do with Christmas at all. This I kind of just threw in because I actually just got done listening to Kitchen Confidential, the audiobook. It was actually my second time listening to it. I enjoyed it so much the first time, wanted to listen to it again, and that is Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. So I did listen to his audiobook for a second time over the Christmas Christmas season, and I just got really in the mood to watch No Reservations. It's a great Travel Channel show where Anthony Bourdain just goes and travels, tries food, shows you some of the culture. It's awesome. Great series. This has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes. That's it. Eight episodes on here, unfortunately. Not a full season, but still a great compilation of No Reservation episodes. I love it. Although there is one episode where he I posted the actual the video of it. I recorded my TV when this happened. He gets off stage. He does like this thing, and it doesn't go well. The crowd's like dead. All his jokes are falling flat, and so just a really bad like press thing he did. And he comes off stage and he goes like, man, like after these things, I usually want to hang myself, and today's no exception. So he literally talks about hanging himself, which he eventually did. If you don't know, he, like, I guess it was last year or something like that. Yeah, was it 2018? I think it was 2018. He killed himself by hanging himself. So that was kind of weird. There's also an episode. I don't think it's the same episode, but another episode where he's talking about basically like dying during like the filming of the episode, which is kind of what happened. He was when he killed himself. They were actually on location to film. They were in the middle of filming, and he killed himself overnight. And they the next morning, like, oh, where's Anthony? Well, he's killed himself. So kind of just weird, like, things like that. Like 2 episodes where, you know, he talks about wanting to kill himself by hanging himself, which again he did. And another episode where he talks about how happy his producers are going to be that he killed himself because they can use it for the video. It's like, yeesh, oh well. So definitely something I recommend. I love this show. If you're a fan of Anthony Bourdain, it's awesome to watch. Then Sean wanted to watch a Christmas movie, so he popped in Fred Claus. Why not? I do enjoy this one. Paul Giamatti alone is awesome. It's a fun modern-day Christmas movie. Paul Giamatti plays Santa. Vince Vaughn, who, you know, is playing a Vince Vaughn character, is the brother, Fred, of Santa, and Santa's under some trouble, and Fred is not making things easier until the very end, when of course they all have to come together as a family, and Fred has to save the day. It's cookie cutter, but it's fun. Modern day Christmas classic. I love that one. Sean liked it as well. All right, then we get into some Laserdiscs. Yeah, popped in Die Hard. Now, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or is it not a Christmas movie? I say, who cares? Like, really? This is the thing where, like, this is what we're all so concerned about, whether this movie's a Christmas movie or it's not a Christmas movie. I say it's not necessarily it's tough to say. I would say this is not a Christmas movie. It's just a movie that I call them a non-Christmas movie, which is a movie that's not a Christmas film per se, but it takes place during the Christmas season and has a lot of Christmas elements to it because it's taking place during Christmas. But the reason why that's hard to say is because this movie has a lot of Christmas in it. There's a lot of things in this that just say, hey, it's Christmas, it's Christmas, it's Christmas, it's Christmas, are hitting that home quite a bit during this film. And that's why it's like, I can see it going kind of both ways. Whereas the second film, which we'll talk about in a second, maybe not so much. So this one here, if you want to say it's a Christmas movie, all right, go for it. If you want to say it's not, all right, go for it. I think it can kind of go either way. I personally think it's a non-Christmas movie. That's what I call these again. But I would not have anything wrong with somebody saying it's a Christmas movie because, yeah, sure. Then I popped in Die Hard 2, which is the sequel that also takes place the following year on Christmas. Now, this one I would say is not a Christmas movie. This is definitely a non-Christmas film because they're not really hammering home the fact that it's Christmas in this one so much. It's still a great sequel. I love this one. John McClane having to to save his wife who's in an airplane because terrorists have taken over an airport. It's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy. Oh, did I even talk about? I didn't even talk about Die Hard. I went into this is a Christmas movie. Yeah, John McClane having to save the Nakatomi, right, tower from terrorists, and his wife's in there and he has to save the day, and it's awesome. It's so good. It's one of the best action movies ever made. Yeah, if you like action movies, see that one. All right. More of the same. This time he's saving an airport from terrorists. And then because I realized I haven't watched him in a long time, why don't we pop in the rest of the Die Hard? So yeah, this, in my opinion, okay, Die Hard with a Vengeance is a great, great movie. A great Die Hard film. Probably, I'd say, maybe even better than the second one. But my problem with 3 and on, why did they not continue with Christmas? Like, I know it would be hard to believe, but it's like the Halloween franchise where they did the first 2 movies with Michael Myers, and then the third movie they're like, okay, we're gonna go in a different direction. Had they done that with the second film, had the second Halloween film gone in a different direction, I'm sure fans would have been like, okay, cool, this is something different, awesome. It probably wouldn't have been a big, huge deal, and I think it would have been awesome. But they screwed up. You can't do 2 movies that are similar and then just go, okay, now we're gonna go do something different. No, if you're gonna do something different, you better nail that home on the second film. You cannot go different the third film in. That makes no sense. And yeah, I mean, this takes place during the middle of summer. They really should have. I think they should have stuck with Christmas. I would have loved to have seen every Die Hard film a Christmas movie, just for some reason. Because here's the thing. John McClane is not some superhero. John McClane just keeps getting mixed into these things. And he keeps saying in the movies, like, how do you think these things keep happening to me? How do I keep getting roped into all this crazy nonsense that's going on? So you can't say that this taking place on Christmas every year or something like that would be unbelievable, because it's already unbelievable that John McClane is getting himself roped into this kind of stuff over and over and over and over again. It wouldn't make sense to begin with. So why not just no, come on. Every movie should have taken place during Christmas. I think that would have been awesome, but still, it's a great movie. There's a terrorist in New York. They're trying to find some bombs. It's awesome. Ties into the first movie as well, so I enjoy that one. And then more napkins, because I watched the next 2 Die Hard films, Live Free or Die Hard and A Good Day to Die Hard. I do have the Nakatomi Plaza Tower box set, but I was lazy and didn't feel like opening because I keep it in its box, so I didn't want to open a box, take the tower out, take out the discs, put the discs in. I just heck with it. I had the digital copies, so I just watched my digital copies. So Live Free or Die Hard is a decent 4th film. It's good. I think I remember seeing it in theaters. I thought it was a pretty decent Die Hard film. Again, terrorists once again, but this time they're it's all computer hacking and whatnot, and they're going into networks and basically shutting down America because everything's run by computers nowadays. It's good. It's decent. I would recommend it. I enjoy it. This time we see John McClane's daughter and whatnot. She kind of gets involved. It's a fun movie. I know some people they might not like it so much, but I enjoy it. For a 4th Die Hard film, I mean, again, this is the 4th movie. I'm not expecting gold by number 4. It's still pretty solid. I like it. A Good Day to Die Hard. People hate this movie. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. It's definitely the weakest of all 5 Die Hard films. By far the weakest. This one, we actually get to see his son, who is, I mean, I don't want to spoil stuff too much for you, but it does involve his son. He's in Russia now. There's a whole thing going on over there. It doesn't really feel like a John McClane movie. It almost feels like he's passing the torch to his son in this movie, played by somebody whose name I can't remember. So it almost feels like, because it almost feels more like it's his son's movie than it is John McClane's movie. It almost feels like John McClane's just kind of like sort of helping out in a way. Even though they try to put him in the forefront, I don't know. It's definitely the weakest. I would have liked to have seen it just be like straight up John McClane like the whole time. If they're gonna do another character, I mean, like, yeah, Samuel Jackson is like his like kind of sidekick buddy in with a Vengeance, but he doesn't play like a major action star in that movie. He just plays an everyman. So had they teamed him up with more of an everyman, okay, but it's the fact that they kind of teamed him up with like another action person. I don't know. It's not, I don't think it's horrible. Again, some people hate this movie. I do not hate it. I think it's okay. I think it's worth checking out if you're a fan of the Die Hard series, but it is the weakest. It's definitely not all that great. It's an okay action film. It's a popcorn movie. Just sit down, take it for what it is, and it's not horrible. It's just not great either. So then I watched Christmas Vacation. Yes, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which I gotta say, because I was saying there's another movie I watched that I would say is also a classic. This one here. Christmas Vacation is definitely, if I had to do like a top 5 Christmas movies of all time, this is going to be in it. It is solid. This is one to watch every single year. By far, I guess you could say Home Alone's a comedy, but I'm going to say straight up comedy, Christmas comedies, this is the best. It's amazing. Also gets you very in the mood for Christmas, in my opinion. Everything from cutting down the tree to putting lights up on your house to Christmas Day to family members and dealing with all that. It really puts you again in that Christmas mood as well. I kind of usually put this one sort of in the middle somewhere. I start off with Home Alone, pop this one on, after I've watched some other random stuff. I usually get this one to get myself back into that hurrah, Christmas is almost here spirit. So I love it. It's great. It's amazing. Watched it on Laserdisc this year instead of going with my Blu-ray. Man, this is such a good movie. I'm sure you've all seen it. It is a classic. If you haven't, one of the best Christmas movies ever made. Then I checked out Elf again. Why did I watch Elf? I watched Elf again because everybody this year, for some reason, was talking about Elf. And some people were actually, not even some people, a lot of people were going as far as to say the greatest Christmas movie ever made, their all-time favorite Christmas film. And I was like, really? I don't remember it being that good. So I popped it back in just to kind of give it another go. I've seen this movie like a dozen times, but I just wanted to watch it one more time to see, is it as good as everybody's been saying this year? It's not. I like this movie, but I have one major issue with this film, and that's Will Ferrell. He plays it too dumb. And from what I'm told, I guess, who's the director of this? Jon Favreau. Really? I didn't even realize that. Apparently Jon Favreau even said, I guess, I heard that he was even kind of like questioning Will Ferrell's craziness and his dumbness in the movie. And here's the thing. All right, so Will Ferrell's character, Buddy the elf, he was raised as an elf. He's a human being raised as an elf at the North Pole. So yes, he's not going to know things. Of course, the scene, where he goes to New York for the first time and he's taking gum off the street because he thinks it's, free gum. Like, okay, like, that's kind of funny because, maybe in the land of, lollipops and stuff, there would be just, gum lying around and lollipop trees and licorice, castles. I'm sure there's worlds of candy out there. So yeah, to him, maybe I could see that. And there's lots of things that, fish out of water, you would be like, yes, totally, you would understand why he would do that. But then he does other things that are like, just dumb. Like, even as somebody who did not grow up in somewhere like New York City and grew up in the North Pole with elves, would not be that stupid. They would know not to do this. They would know not to do that. They would know that's not something that's right. Like, there's just so many things that he just goes too dumb with. And that's my biggest gripe with this movie is that there are just times where I'm like, how, no, does he have some sort of mental disability? Like, that's the only thing that I can live with. If you're gonna tell me that, maybe he has some kind of mental disorder, okay, I could get behind that because he seems like he has one. There's also, of course, the fact that he lives off of sugar. He's not an elf. He grew up with elves, but he's not an elf. He's a normal human being. He'd be dead. You can't live like that. Believe me, I've tried. You can't live like that. He'd be dead. There's no way he could do that. What's with the scene with the snowballs where all of a sudden he has magic robot arms? He can throw snow. You can make snowballs so fast and throw them so fast. Again, if you want to tell me a magical elf can do that, gotcha. You're gonna try to tell me a normal human can do that? No. So there's just so much about this movie that it's it just doesn't make sense, and that they go too far too many times in this movie that it bugs me. However, it's still a decent Christmas movie. I do enjoy it for what it is. There are some funny moments in it. I love the ending of it where everybody gets together and sings. I like that. So it's a good movie. It is worth checking out. I don't hate the movie. I just think they go too far in this movie too often to make it anything that like blows me away. But it's still something I would consider a modern day Christmas classic. It is worth checking out. It is a good movie. They should have toned it down a bit to make it like an excellent movie. All right, then these are something I do consider to be, you know, Merry Movie Marathon related. Goon and Goon Last of the Enforcers. Now, they're hockey. It's, you know, it's the winter season, and if I'm not mistaken, Goon actually takes place, I guess, around Christmas time, because there are Christmas lights in the background. So, Goon is a fantastic movie. All about Sean William Scott, who doesn't know first thing about actually playing hockey. He just likes it. But it turns out he's like this excellent bouncer and can just beat the crap out of anybody. And ends up beating the crap out of a hockey player. The coach sees that and says, hey, we want you as like an enforcer on the team. Basically a guy who isn't, you know, doesn't really play so much, just basically goes around and beats other players up and checks other players, and, you know, kind of the guy who has to throw down during the games. And that's what it is. So he basically plays, you know, a goon. It's very funny, has some great moments in it, really good story. I recommend this one. It is awesome. Whether you're a hockey fan or not, this is a movie to check out. It is really, again, really funny. Great story. I love everybody in this film. It's awesome. Definitely see it. Goon Last of the Enforcer, the sequel, because this movie like became this like cult thing. People like really started to get into this movie and talk about it, and rightfully so. So they made a sequel. I gotta say the best thing about this movie is the fact that they brought like pretty much all the cast back. Like everybody's back in this thing, but now Sean William Scott's wife is pregnant, and she's basically like, okay, you gotta stop doing what you're doing. But you know, he's a hockey guy. It's what he does, and it was okay. It wasn't really. It didn't live up to the first movie. This movie, I just felt was so strong, so good, so well done, very enjoyable. This movie fell flat quite a bit. It really just felt like it's a sequel. It had that sequel mentality where it didn't feel like it needed to be made. The first movie was strong. It was good. They should have just ended it at what it was. We didn't really need more story per se, but we got more story, and it was just a mediocre story. So when I say see it, I guess if you've seen the first one and you're just curious, it's not horrible. It is worth checking out if you're interested in seeing it. But if you really think, I don't need to see this movie, then you don't have to. Watch this one. This is a must-see in my opinion. Goon is fantastic. See it. Goon 2, I mean, again, if you want to see it, but you don't have to. I was not a big fan of it. I can see myself watching Goon over and over again. In fact, this is my second time watching Goon. I'll probably watch it another dozen times. It was great. I will probably not pop in the second one again. So then I had to watch something that's not Christmas related, but I heard that it was a ripoff, and that is Skyscraper. And everybody kept saying, you gotta check it out. It's a Die Hard ripoff. Oh, this movie it's just Die Hard with The Rock. So I was like, all right, well, I just watched Die Hard. Let's pop it in and let's see. People. Like, this happens all the time. People tell me, oh, movie's this. And I watch it, and it's nothing like that at all. And that is this movie. There are some similarities. There is a skyscraper. And there are terrorists. And that's about it for the similarities. The entire plot's different. It's not you know, John McClane going to this this tower to be with his wife, you know, at a Christmas party. This is a whole different setup to why this tower is there, why it exists. The terrorists are doing things for like completely different reasons. Like nothing that really happens in the first or in the first movie in Die Hard happens. It's such a different movie. I mean, yes, okay, a tower. It's a tower. There are terrorists. It's an action movie. Like that's as close to Die Hard as it gets. Die Hard is such a different film than this movie. I do not see this movie as a ripoff. It didn't feel like it did not feel like Die Hard 2018. It was not that at all, in my opinion. I don't know what people are talking about. I have to completely disagree with anybody out there who says this is a Die Hard ripoff. This movie's just, you know, Die Hard with The Rock. I cannot disagree with you anymore. But anyway, was it good? Yeah, it was. Great, solid rock action film. I really did enjoy this one. I would recommend checking it out. If you're a fan of action movies, if you're a fan of The Rock, as I am, it's worth seeing. It was really good, very enjoyable. Definitely see it. But not a Die Hard ripoff. Sorry. So at this point, it was Christmas, so of course I popped in A Christmas Story, the movie I always watch on Christmas Day. I know this movie over the years has just blown up. It's gotten ridiculous to the point where it's like it's oversaturated now. It's almost like it's too much. But it's still a really good movie. I'm sorry, like whether it has become huge and overrated or not, it's still a solid movie, and this is the one I always watch on Christmas because, again, excuse me, Home Alone is the movie that gets me into the Christmas spirit. This is the movie that makes me feel like I'm on, like it makes me feel like it is Christmas, like, and that's why I watch this one, because when I watch this, I feel like it is Christmas Day. It puts me, back to being a little kid, and things I went through during Christmas and being with my family and whatnot. It's a solid movie. It deserves the praise it gets. I just think it's a bit, the amount of praise it gets is very bandwagony. It's like, it doesn't quite deserve to be like this, like praise as much as it does, because I think a lot of that praise just comes from, people being like, just people saying it is, I don't know. It's great. It's a fantastic movie. It does deserve praise. It is one of the best Christmas movies ever made. This would be in my top 5 Christmas movies of all time if I had to do that, which I'm not going to do because I don't know what I put in them other than Home Alone. Like Home Alone, National Lampoon, A Christmas Story would definitely be in my top 5. The other two, I don't know. I'd have to really think about that one. But again, solid. Love this movie. And again, it's the one I watch every year on Christmas Day, and this year was no different. I love it. And do I need to talk about it? I'm sure you've all seen it, but if you haven't, what rock have you been living underneath? All right, then I checked out Bad Moms, and you're probably already knowing why I watched this. So I hadn't watched Bad Moms yet, and I wanted to see this before I saw the sequel at Bad Moms Christmas, so I didn't want to watch them backwards. So I had to see this one first, and it was okay. This movie didn't really blow me away. It is about bad moms versus not bad moms, but, regular moms who have problems, moms who, have trouble getting their kids out of bed and feeding them and getting them ready for school and homework and balancing work and recitals and band practice and soccer practice, all the crazy things that, adults have to go through with kids, and balancing all that and getting it all to work and the hectic craziness of that. It's about those parents who are going through that versus, like, the rich, stuck-up, snobby parents who kind of have everything together, or at least at the most part make it look like everything's right and together and fancy. It was okay. It had some funny moments. It was enjoyable. Is it worth a watch? If you want to see it, I would say, yeah, it's worth checking out. I wouldn't say it's anything you have to see. Then again, this is coming from an adult male in his late 30s, so this was definitely marketed more towards mothers. So if you are a mom with a kid, maybe this would speak to you a little bit more than it did to me. But in the end, I just thought it was okay. I know I'm not the targeted demographic for this film, so maybe that had something to do with it. But regardless, I thought it was okay. Again, worth a watch if you want to check it out. It's not a bad movie. I'm glad I saw it, but I don't see myself really having any interest in watching this one again. I mean, unless the wife or something wants to see it. Otherwise, I'll probably never pop this one in my Blu-ray player again. It was just okay. But again, worth seeing if you want to check it out. A Bad Mom's Christmas, which I'm thinking about it now, it's very much just like Daddy's Home 2, where now the parents are involved and it takes place during Christmas. I'm just now realizing that the similarities between Daddy's Home 2 and A Bad Mom's Christmas, which is Bad Moms 2. That's weird. Anyway, so yes, now the parents are there, and the wackiness of the parents, and it's Christmas time, and it was okay. No. Unlike Daddy's Home 2, where the parents made the movie better, this one I almost kind of felt it was too much. There was too much going on. Too many, too many cooks in the kitchen, if you will. It was all right. I mean, if you've seen the first movie and you're curious, sure, give it a watch, but I wasn't really a big fan of this one. I just thought it was very mediocre. It was a less enjoyable movie than the first one, and the first one I wasn't even the biggest fan of, so that should say something. So, I mean, again, if you've seen this and you're curious, sure, pop it in, but I wouldn't say it's anything you need to see. It was just mediocre. However, I gotta say, kudos to, who is this? Universal. Kudos to the Christina Applegate cameo, because I was kind of bummed out that Christina Applegate was not in the movie, and she did have a cameo in it, so I was happy about that. So awesome. And then I decided to finish up my Merry Movie Marathon with Ocean's 8. I again, at this point, I was just like, all right, I'm done with Christmas. Let's pop in something else I want to watch. So Ocean's 8, I was surprised to find, I honestly thought this was just a whole another story, just with a name. I was very pleasantly surprised to find out this movie actually ties into the last 3 Ocean's movies. With Danny Ocean and George Clooney. I was like, wow, like, okay, that's awesome. They didn't really go the Ghostbusters route where it was just a whole new random movie for like no apparent reason that didn't tie into the other movies at all, which was like the dumbest. Anyway, that movie could have been so much better. So much. I don't hate the new Ghostbusters, but man, could it have been such a solid movie if they just like did it a little bit differently. Anyway, this movie at least ties into the other 3 Ocean's movies, and I like that. So basically, this is Ocean 4, if you will, and it's good. They do give a reason also as to why it's an all-female cast. It's a kind of a throwaway line, but at least it's not just like, okay, we're just doing all girls because we're doing all girls now. They actually give you a reason why Sandra Bullock's character, Danny Ocean's sister, wants an all-female group of people, and it's not even all-female. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but there might be some men involved, actually, kind of more behind the scenes and whatnot. So, all-female cast that we see, but then you'll see at the very end, we do get maybe some cameos coming back into it. So, it was decent. It did feel like a 4th Ocean's movie. If I was to rank all 4 of these movies in order, I love the first Ocean's movie. Man, and I'm not talking about the original Rat Pack one. I mean, the newer ones. The first one is so good. I always say it feels like I'm watching a Guy Ritchie movie. I love Guy Ritchie films. It is such a solid movie. I really want to watch it. I might watch it soon, actually. It's so good. Second one is also great. It's a good follow-up. I really do like the second movie. Third one, it was good, but again, at this point now, it's like, okay, now it's the third movie. It was okay. I didn't mind it, but it wasn't the best. And again, same thing here. It's good. It's enjoyable. I just don't think the story was told quite as well. That's one of the things I loved about the first movie, is the way that was just the way it was just told and set up, and just the way the movie flowed. It was really strong because of that, and that's what I felt this movie was missing, was the way the movie flowed. It didn't quite work the way I think the first movie did. So all in all, it is solid. If you like Oceans, if you like the first 3 Oceans movies, this is worth checking out. It's not bad. I mean, honestly, I went into this expecting the worst and was pleasantly surprised to find out it was actually fairly decent, and again, an actual sequel to the other movies, which is just, yes, thank you. Good way to go. Good direction. I praise the movie for going in that direction. So when I say see it, yeah, if you like the Ocean's movies, check it out. It was decent. Again, the weakest in all 4 movies, but still solid enough that I would say it's worth checking out. If you like crime capers, check it out. See it. So, all right, guys, there you go. That was everything I watched over the month of December. So my Merry Movie Marathon, if you will. I know I threw in a few things there, like Ocean's 11 and Anthony Bourdain, Skyscraper, the other Die Hard. So yeah, I threw in a few things that weren't necessarily Christmassy related, but I had my reasons. Again, Anthony Bourdain, because I was listening to the audiobook. I was just really in the mood. Skyscraper, because people kept saying, oh, you watched the Die Hard movies? Well, have you watched that yet? So I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And then some of the movies like not Daddy's Home, Bad Moms, because I had to watch the second one, which is a Christmas movie, and then Ocean's 8 because I was done with Christmas. So yeah, it is what it is. All in all, some solid titles. Some new stuff I watched for the first time that I really enjoyed, which was great. So that is it, guys. So, guys. As always, thank you guys for checking out this video. Well, you know, I should say, I didn't really say this to you guys yet. I hope you guys had a great 2018. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope that was awesome. Again, I know I'm kind of late with this, but I hope you did have a really good holiday season. And here's looking to an awesome 2019. I'm glad you guys will be here to enjoy it and join me in 2019. I got some big plans. Going to do some adventures. Once spring and summer hit, I really want to get out there more and hit up some new places you've never seen me at before. So stay tuned. I got a trip to, well, 2 trips to Florida actually planned. One is really just like a very much focusing on hunting, which is coming up like next month. So stay tuned for that. So a lot of awesome stuff coming this year, guys. Stay tuned. So again, guys, that is it. So as always, thank you all so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, hit that subscribe button and you're going to get one. Also, be sure to check down below for a link to Patreon where you can help support the show. The simple donation of $1 or more if you like really does help out. Goes a long way. Goes right back into these videos. And it does gain you early access on most of my videos as well. Also, be sure to check down below for a link to Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself many designs of Cinema Sickness t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, hats, buttons, all kinds of really cool Cinema Sickness gear. Again, proceeds help out the show. And as always, most importantly, check down below for a link to the Cinema Sickness Retro Store, where you can pick up all kinds of awesome media, like movies, books, video games, music, retro toys, movie memorabilia, all kinds of awesome stuff like that. And proceeds from the store are the most important for the show. They are what keep the show going. So again, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Again, hope you guys had a great 2018, a fantastic holiday season, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Okay, before I go, I feel kind of bad. I gotta give this at least a little bit of screen time because I completely neglected this over the holiday season due to the Laserdiscs and the digital copies. My Nakatomi Plaza Die Hard collection. This thing is awesome. This was actually given to me by a viewer, which is really cool. It contains all 5 Die Hard films and this amazing Nakatomi Plaza replica. This is really, really cool. But as you can see, I keep mine in its box and doesn't make it very convenient for actually watching the movies, which is why I was just kind of on a Laserdisc kick and decided, why not watch the Laserdiscs? And then when it came to the last 2 movies, which were never released a Laserdisc, I did not really want to get them out of this. I figured I'd just watch the digital copy. So I'm sure you can understand why, but man, this thing is awesome. It's so cool. I love looking at this thing. And to the viewer who sent it to me, that's just so amazing of you. And yeah, I love it. And like I said, I had to give it at least a little screen time because it is so cool. And I feel bad. I neglected it.